He's back by popular demand. He's the Admiral David Robinson, the former Spurs center. The documentary on the Dream Team tonight, NBA TV. Have you seen the documentary, David?
I have not. I'm looking forward to it.
What would be curious? What would you want to know would be in or not in? If, given what you went through in 92 and, the reaction, what's the one thing that should be in that documentary?
Well, I wanted to just see footage of the practices. I think those were almost zen-like. It's just having the best talent together, playing, short bursts, short periods of time, but playing hard together, and it was just a blast for all of us.
Who was the most competitive in practice?
Who was the most competitive? All of them were very competitive. I mean, it was as hard of basketball. I mean, just everybody going at each other and talking, and everybody on that floor was not just competitive, but the ultimate professional too. So it brought the best out of all of us.
Okay, I want you to clear up a couple of things here. Did you want Isaiah Thomas on the team?
Did I?
Yeah.
It didn't matter to me one way or the other. I heard all the talk. I mean, it's at the time, people were wondering whether, Michael had something to do with it, or I don't know. I mean, the team I thought was a phenomenal group of guys, and you could have probably gone 7 or 8 different guys could have added to the team and would have been just as effective. So, I mean, I didn't see it as a big controversy at the time. I still don't think it's a big deal.
Well, I think it was just that Jordan and Pippen didn't like the Pistons because of the way they were treated. They beat the Pistons. Pistons didn't acknowledge them, walked off the floor, and I think that was where Michael said, I don't want to be a part of this. This isn't fake stuff for me. Scotty and I don't want to play with Isaiah Thomas. That was the story that I heard.
Wow. I did not hear that story. I guess I was on the outside looking in on that, so I never thought it was a big deal. I heard all the rumblings in the media, but as players, we really didn't face that too much.
Did you guys have a curfew on the Dream Team?
A curfew? No curfews.
Well,
at least if there was, I didn't know about it.
Well, I have to imagine you had your own curfew, but that's just the way you live your life. These other guys, they probably. Who would be out the latest on the Dream Team?
This is the NBA. Come on, man. You can't put a curfew on these guys. You'd see these guys playing. I'd go down in the lobby at midnight and see these guys playing cards and goofing around. But you knew the next morning you better bring your A game to practice. I don't care how late they were up.
All right, here's another story. Did Clyde Drexler bring 2 left shoes to practice one day? And Barkley was unmerciful with him.
Oh, everybody was unmerciful with him. I don't know how you missed that in the morning, but he did. He came to practice and he was lacing up a shoe on his left foot. That was his right shoe or something. And I was sitting there, and Charles, both of us were sitting there looking at him, thinking that doesn't look right. Something's going on, and. I said, how do you even put a shoe on that's for the wrong foot? And he had no good excuse for that.
Wait a minute,
so we rode him all week.
But, David, if you guys didn't tell him you're putting your left shoe on your right foot, would he have
Well, we didn't notice until we were on the court sitting there getting ready to go warm up for practice, and we're sitting there, and he's trying to lace the shoe up. I looked over, I said, what are you doing? And that's when Charles took it and ran with it.
I heard Charles just killed Drexler.
Oh, man.
He just would not stop.
Not just Charles, but I think the whole thing with Portland, and they were so close to winning the championship, and I think Michael was saying something about their level of intelligence. I don't know. I stay out of that stuff.
And I could imagine. I've been around Jordan when he's with Barkley, and he will just unleash on Barkley about not winning a championship. And you got Bird there, Jordan there, Barkley there.
Yeah, you know what? That was the part I think for me, during that time was the hardest to kind of sit through because, being one of those guys that hadn't won a championship at the time, I felt like, man, that was kind of a little elitist club there, and I wanted to break into that club.
But you think that If you're Akeem, do you think Akeem looks at it and says, there should be an asterisk by my championships? Because Michael wasn't there. That we always say if Michael, he decided he wanted to play baseball. Did you guys ever look at that and say, Jordan not being there, is it still the same that you win a championship? It's sort of like when Tiger Woods wasn't playing and, somebody wins a major. Did you guys look at it?
You know what? Nah, not at all. I mean, any way you look at it, I don't care how you do it. You getting it done is an amazing feat. At any given time, there's only one team that can win, and if you're the toughest guy playing at the time, that's a strong statement.
He's David Robinson, former Spurs center, member of the Dream Team, the documentary tonight on NBA TV. What would you teach Anthony Davis if you got a chance to work with him?
Well, Anthony, I think similar to Tim, I think I'd just try to take as much pressure off him as possible and get him to understand that the expectations out there, I mean, I think LeBron's a good example. I mean, the expectations are always just ridiculous. And you just got to play at your own pace and your own strength and be your own man, because you can't be what everybody else wants you to be all the time.
But don't you think LeBron's trying to do that?
Yeah, I do. I do. I think in the past he let it get to him a little bit, but this year he looks like he's relaxed. He's doing a great job. He's playing extremely well. But still, if he doesn't win, everybody's still going to talk about him, and that's ridiculous. I mean, the way the guy has played especially during these playoffs, has been outrageous.
Do you think he could be ever recognized as better than Jordan?
No. No, I don't. I think even Kobe, as great as he has played, Kobe has been as Jordan-esque as anybody. I think even Kobe people are hard-pressed to put him on that same pedestal.
Why?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe over time you kind of will give the same respect, but while a guy is playing, I think it's just hard to put him in that same category.
But it's because we saw Jordan first. If we saw Kobe before we saw Jordan.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that that's whoever we see first syndrome kind of. But and Kobe's Kobe's been as good as Jordan in so many different ways, and I think in time they'll be on the same pedestal. But right now I think people are still reluctant to give him that. And
Mike didn't win his first title till he was 28.
Right.
So
yeah,
LeBron's 27.
People forget that.
Yeah, LeBron's 20. If I said you could have Durant's future or LeBron's.
Ooh. Wow. Good question. I mean, I think Durant for right now. I think the way he's playing and I like their team right now. I like the way they're playing. I think they're going to win this one. So I'd have to go with his for right now.
Wow.
We'll see who wins this championship, and I'll tell you after that.
Hey, it's good to visit with you again, as always, David. Thank you. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
All right.
Good talk to you.
That's David Robinson, former Spurs center, Dream Teamer.